I feel like black on black crime, if the law killing us and we killing each other, it ain't gonna be no more of us.
First time I got shot, it was on a Friday.
At 18, I saw gun violence. I saw a lot of gun violence.
I done been shot before when I was younger.
She shot me again. He shot me in my leg. That's when I fell.
We're shooting each other because we envy each other and we want what the other man has.
D-Day argument lead to later on somebody gonna die.
The poverty, you know, jobs, no jobs.
When he pulled the pistol out, he hit me on the back of the head and shot me in my arm.
Say we go all the way back to how we getting taught as young men. I was in the school for 8 years or 12 years and I never learned nothing.
The majority of us, we get left behind. So once we get left behind, we want to take what the ones that made it through the cracks, we want to take what they have.
But what I don't experience is black helping blacks. I don't experience that.
When people see something that you got and they want it, they don't got it. So around the fact, they're gonna try to come and get it.
I don't see no one come out here black that try to help out. You understand? And I don't see that no more.
And you only know what you see. So if I saw gun violence my whole life and I saw my big brother do something wrong to the next person to get what he wanted, then maybe I'm gonna have to get what I want the same way.
A lot of black people feel like the only way to get that is to invade another black man's space instead of going out, getting a job, and starting from the bottom to the top.
I can't understand why we want to hurt each other and criticize each other and down each other.
When you take somebody's life, that's like one of the most, it's like the worst sin you can ever commit, you know. And then the people that they leave affected behind it. You know, you got kids taking kids' lives. You got mothers killing mothers, sisters killing sisters, brothers killing brothers, cousins killing cousins. It's ridiculous, man, how we allow the human minds to take control, let our anger take the best of us. And sometimes a lot of these people that commit these crimes, they don't mean to do them.
My name is Kenneth Haynes. At the time I got shot, we was at my cousin's house. Everybody was gambling and stuff, smoking weed. I went in the house to use the bathroom. I come out, I just hear a gunshot, and I end up getting like hit in the shoulder. The day I got stabbed, it was November. I just had got out of jail like about 3 days ago. I just seen somebody run up on me, so when they ran up on me, I'm like, man, what the hell? When I got up, and I was running, I was like, damn, my shirt stuck to my arm and everything. I'm breathing hard, so by the time I got on the side of the house, I pulled my shirt up, and then blood just started spraying out. So I was like, next thing I know, I just hear a whole bunch of ambulance and to the ambulance lady, I can't breathe, I can't breathe.
In order for us to make this world and these young brothers understand that violence isn't the way, murder is not the way. If somebody went out and committed a crime and they was caught and arrested for it, they take them to court the next day. If they're found guilty on the charges, they take them to court the next day and they execute them the day after that. And I guarantee you, if they put a harsh punishment on these crimes like that, and these people know that if they go out and take someone's life, their life could be taken within the next week, they'll be gone. You know, I really think that'll make them think twice before they get out and just execute somebody or murder somebody.
Now, a series of reports we're calling the gunfight. Just about every night, we report the news that can be tough to tell.
Lives lost at the hands of violent armed criminals. An in-depth report in just a moment. But first this, we are following the trail, looking into how firearms go from legal sales and then end up being used in crimes. Last year, the ATF recovered and traced 246,087 guns. Now, these are the states with the highest number of guns recovered and tracked. Georgia ranks number 5 behind Illinois, Texas, Florida, and California. The ATF, they were able to recover and trace 11,241 guns right here in Georgia.
And to my CBS 46 News investigation now, and the so-called iron pipeline. It is big-time, deadly commerce, and every time law enforcement breaks up one ring, more perps are ready to move weapons from Georgia to New York. Listen, as police wiretaps catch a Georgia man boasting about his big gun business in the Big Apple.
I need a cat. Listen, I'm walking through Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
I've got 2 MAC-10s on me, a SK assault rifle, and 4 handguns, and I'm walking through New York. This is illegal as
Illegal because of New York's strict gun laws, some of the toughest in the U.S. Polar opposite of the state of Georgia, something Michael Basir, recently indicted as a gun-running ringleader, openly mocked on law enforcement wiretaps.
I'm selling them the right way and the wrong way. When I'm out of state, like in Atlanta and Georgia and all that, it's all legal, it's fully legal, but New York is completely illegal. So when I bring it up here and sell it up here, that's illegal.
But it's also big money, and according to the Brooklyn, New York District Attorney Ken Thompson, it's blood money.
These folks are merchants of death.
Thompson says Basir made more than $100,000 using straw purchases to buy cheap guns, several $100s each in the Atlanta area, flipping some for more than $1,000 per weapon in the state of New York. The MAC-10s and assault rifles too often end up in the hands of criminals who intend to murder.
These guns are being used to kill our children and to murder our police officers.
Thompson has been on the hunt for years, and to him and other members of the law enforcement community, it's personal.
New York City police officers were murdered with guns that originated from the state of Georgia. That is outrageous.
3 members of the NYPD in the last 11 months alone. Officers Wenjiang Liu, Rafael Ramos, and Brian Moore, all murdered with Georgia guns. 2 weeks ago, a 4th officer, Randolph Holder, also killed in the line of duty. That weapon was traced to neighboring South Carolina. I-85 links South Carolina and Georgia. It's all part of the so-called iron pipeline. Southern states with lax gun laws. They are so lax that gun runners load up here in metro Atlanta, then head up north where the big money waits.
It is easier in some communities to find a gun than it is to find some fresh vegetables and a supermarket. That's just a fact.
According to Thompson, back in 2013, Georgia took the top spot in the country for guns found at crime scenes, some 3,000. How are so many weapons being moved so quickly with deadly consequences? Cars traveling up Interstate 85 to 95 into New York. And planes until a December 2014 bust at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport closed a loophole allowing a then Delta employee to bypass TSA checkpoints smuggling the weapons. But more recently, criminals are moving them on cheap buses where security is loose. So easy, so enticing, some unlikely perpetrators are now getting in on the gun running.
What we're seeing is that folks who have never been arrested before, who have no criminal record, are buying these guns as straw purchasers, whether they be in Atlanta or Pittsburgh. So we have young people who ought to know better, who think that they can make a quick buck by buying guns legally, but then they're giving it to someone illegally.
Busting gun runners has become a never-ending task. Thompson says he and other DAs throughout the country are collaborating more and more.
You can't do it alone. You have a relationship with other DAs, your counterparts throughout the country, including in Atlanta with Paul Howard.
I had a conversation with DA Howard a week ago. We met in New York, and we talked about the gun violence that's happening around the country and the need to work together to stop the easy access to guns in places like Georgia and Virginia and other southern states.
But the big question, how much can one local prosecutor do to shut down the massive iron pipeline? You may be surprised to learn there are no federal gun trafficking laws. And Ben, late this afternoon, I sat down with the Atlanta Police Chief, George Turner. We talked about a lot of things, including what all of this violence means, violent crime right here in Atlanta.
I'm the one that found him. The door was locked. He was unresponsive, wouldn't come to the door. I busted out that window. I opened the curtains and I found him face down on the bed. He was purple and blue. There wasn't no hope.
When I saw her, she wasn't herself.
He told me that my dad was dead. I just dropped the phone and hollered for my mom. Oh my God, he's gone.
There is one man, these three families say, links them all together. Dr. Narendra Nagareddy, a Jonesboro psychiatrist recently arrested.
She liked him, but she just didn't feel comfortable with what he was giving her. And I was saying, take it, maybe you'll feel better.
We were there as federal agents raided his Clayton County office. They moved in and shut him down, accusing the doctor of unlawfully prescribing medication. Investigators tell us 36 of his patients have died in a 5-year span.
This says 36 people died, 12 of them overdose deaths.
In a CBS 46 exclusive, we tracked down the doctor to a Henry County home. A grand jury could soon hear his case. Right now, he is only facing 1 felony charge.
Were you running a pill mill?
No, sir, not at all.
So why can't you explain that to me then?
Let me talk to my lawyer, sir.
His lawyer hasn't agreed to talk to me. The doctor tried hiding behind his door.
I'll explain to you, sir. I'm an honest man. I look after all the severely mentally ill patients. Please understand, sir.
But court records allege he wasn't at all taking care of his patients properly. Many, we found in these documents, received minimal examination, evaluation, or testing. Yet the doctor regularly prescribed excessive amounts of controlled substances for no legitimate medical purpose.
I think these patients had an addiction. I think Dr. Nagareddy enabled their addiction.
Michael Robinson still lives across the street from the home where he found his dad David dead from an overdose.
Hell, I miss him every day. It's my dad. I'm only 31 years old.
According to this newly released search warrant, family members told investigators David had a history of prescription drug abuse. But records show at least 24 times in a 13-month span he got his hands on medication, including a bottle of 90 anxiety pills just 4 days before his death.
You know, if he wasn't prescribed all them meds, then yeah, he'd still be alive today.
And this is what I haven't thrown away.
Georgette Mahey tells me she met the doctor several times. She doesn't blame him for the death of her diabetic daughter, but says she's still asking why he kept prescribing so much medication. In fact, here's a bottle she still has full of pills.
And her and her brother.
Latricia Mahey died 9 months ago.
Her and her daughter look so much alike.
Leaving Georgette to raise a granddaughter all on her own.
I'll be 65 in a couple of months. I didn't think I would have a teenager.
He was taking a lot of medication.
And then there's Shonda Witten. This is the last photo ever taken of her dad. It was also the last time she ever saw him. Roy Denson is one of the 36 names we found listed in these court records.
He said that he wished he could have been a dad, but all he knew how to do was be a friend, and that he would always be my friend.
They're all part of a case police say is unlike any other in the state's history.
And it was so egregious, instead of receiving help, it appears that some of them were receiving a death sentence.
Clayton County's police chief helped oversee Nagareddy's arrest earlier this year.
Of course, Clayton County is a better place now that Dr. Nagareddy is off the street.
It is the latest bust in a statewide crackdown on these so-called pill mills, where patients allege they have easy access to pain meds not because they need them, but because they want them.
The top 4 causes of overdose drugs in our state are Oxycontin, methadone, Xanax, and hydrocodone.
And that's all stuff you can get
through pain clinics.
It's why the Attorney General fought for tougher laws and recently helped pass new legislation requiring all pain clinics to be licensed with the state. They have to be owned by doctors or hospitals, and not a single employee can have a criminal record.
How many suspected pill mills would you say your office is investigating right now?
Candidly, that's not public information. I will tell you it's less than it was before passage of the pill mill bill.
The law doesn't say a doctor has to stop prescribing medicine just because someone has a drug problem.
Defense attorneys warn of a legal gray zone, a sort of protection or buffer for doctors. Despite the high number of deaths, Dr. Nagareddy isn't facing murder charges.
They either have to show that the doctor intentionally killed the patient, or they need to show that the doctor's writing of the prescriptions was so reckless, so negligent, that it was foreseeable that it would lead to someone's death.
Our own investigation found Dr. Nagareddy had a squeaky clean record with the state medical board. It It has left these families asking, how could this have happened? And what is proper justice? As we continue to learn more about the 36 patients named in this investigation, the doctor's future is uncertain. Despite repeated attempts for comment, his attorney contacted me just one time. It was a text message telling me to stay away from his client's property. Tonight we know Dr. Nagareddy's medical license has been suspended. We will keep digging. I'm Adam Harding, CBS 46 News Night Team.
These are exclusive images we obtained capturing the tense moments as Georgia Tech police move quickly to rescue a little boy. He's fallen deep into a storm drain at the Georgia Tech campus. His mother frantically watches as officials go in. Police pulled a toddler out unharmed.
It's scary, it's dangerous.
For families in this East Point neighborhood along Bryant Drive, seeing this happen is like deja vu.
I fell, and then my mama was crying about me.
5-year-old Darnell was just a toddler when he fell 20 feet down this storm drain. His grandpa says it happened in a split second.
And I was going to go to work.
Denzel Wallace tells me city workers secured the storm drain that swallowed his grandson. But now, years later,
There's plenty of storm drains near attention.
neighbors pointed me to several storm drains they fear are dangerously exposed.
It's exposed enough where it's a hazard.
Mark Allen has a 5-year-old.
Small enough to fit in there.
I'm 5'7", and in this case, the opening is big enough I can fit my legs, half my body all the way in. Say I was a small child looking for a toy or a baseball, I could probably slip all the way inside. Marilyn Martin says she's reported her concerns to the city, but has yet to hear back.
There's a lot of areas that need repair, and I know it's money, but it's also lives, and hopefully something will be done. It's about time.
In East Point, I'm Christian De La Rosa, CBS 46 News.